on the 26th of February, and to celebrate, they are going back to their roots in a big way, because they're playing the same size venues that they played when they first came to Europe way back in 1989. Now, as you can imagine, as you can see, every single show on this tour is sold out, and if you were not lucky enough to get a ticket to these fantastic gigs, then maybe tonight's show is the next best thing. So brace yourself for an unhealthy and brutal dose of Sepultura Roots Riot, courtesy of Headbangers Ball. Crank it up. Woo! Yes, hot off the press. Welcome down to Copenhagen on show number 2 of Sepultura's Terrorist Tour. And joining me first up tonight, I've got Max and Andreas. So welcome back to Headbangers Ball. It's great to be down on the tour right at the beginning. So how did last night go, the first show?
It was great, I think. It was like we thought it would be. There was a lot of mistakes, but it didn't matter for that day. We didn't play for a year.
Right.
The kids were real up close. It was great to see people stage diving again in a show. You know, a lot of people stage diving and stuff.
Brilliant.
After so much time, you know, playing bigger places.
Because you're going kind of back to your club roots, as we've been saying, when you first played in Europe in 1989. So much has changed for you since then. But how is the vibe of this tour comparing to the 1989 tour? Is it bringing back memories of that?
Yeah, I think so. You know, like place like 500,000 people, and you meet people outside like we used to do and stuff. You know, especially in Europe. You know, so special for us since the beginning. It was the first place who really accept the music Sepultura, and we've been touring here forever, really. You know, since '89 we always come here, and it's great to start out. You know, this Roots tour, which is very special for us. A lot of different stuff to try out live, and you know, we're going slowly, step by step. That's why we start out like just 13 shows, and then we go further for, you know, bigger places.
Well, it's the most talked about tour of the year so far, but I mean, it's going to probably be the best club tour of the year, I think. Anyway, just over the last 7 years or so, it has kind of been a kind of rags to riches story for Sepultura. Have you always felt in touch with your roots? Have you always had time to kind of reflect on things, or was that one of the major points of this album, that you could look back where you'd come from?
It was the idea. We wanted to do it, but in a natural way, in which I think that's what makes Roots special. It's not fake, and it's everything that's in there. It's the I guess the heritage or the instruments that we brought out, but in a natural way, without sounding fake or trying to force something to the people. We wanted to show a different side. You know, we've been doing this for 12 years. We've been to all kinds of I guess stages that you can call, you know, the most radical death metal stages, and then a little bit more technical trash stage with Beneath the Remains. And now is the time to show, again, recreate ourselves, recreate the wheel of Sepultura, I guess, you know, and it's getting a really good reaction from a lot of people, because it's so different and it doesn't repeat itself.
Okay, well, late last year, MTV went over to the studio with Sepultura in New York, and just to give you a kind of overview of the Roots album, we're going to show you that little report. So, whoosh, over to New York.
One main thing that Sepultura likes to keep doing is breaking barriers and always bringing new flavors to our music. So I think the main difference, you know, it's always going to be something different.
It's a different step, and I think we've been listening a lot of different stuff, and especially more percussion lately. And we brought all this to the Sepultura music together with more Brazilian influence than it was before. So I think it's just a new step.
I always wanted to use my voice as almost like the fifth instrument. So I decided on this album really go for it and go from the deep vocals to the crisp, high, you know, real high screams and stuff, mixed with total clean voice, sometimes only talking, you know, all kinds of stuff. I think the result in the end is really different. You know, it's going to surprise a lot of people that sometimes I only use that one kind of max voice, which is kind of my trademark, the just deep, screaming one.
We had the idea to go inside the Brazilian jungle, inside the tribe with them, you know, spend a couple of days with them, living a little bit the way they do, you know, learning a little bit more about their history and the culture. And, you know, it was great. You know, they're very friendly. They did the healing ritual of the word, which is the dance they did. And we apply our music to that. They didn't change anything of their ritual song. You know, we just like jam together with wherever they have. And the final result's amazing, you know, just amazing.
I really respect the way they portray themselves and how they love their culture, and they will not give up their culture or the roots for anything.
He was very honored also, you know. We like to do the lyrics and stuff, and we kind of prepare a special song just for him.
And the real cool thing about it is that it's not a rap song at all. It doesn't sound like rap at all. It sounds like a really weird, kind of like somehow I have a little bit of industrial vibe on it, but also mixed with some real heavy scratch, but it's definitely not rap.
So that was the guys talking about the track Look Away, which featured a host of special guests, and we will talk about that in depth a little bit later on. But we're going into the very first video from the Roots album, Roots, Bloody Roots. And just to set up this video, Max, if I could say to you, this to me kind of sums up one of the underlying themes of the album, basically staying true to yourself and your beliefs. Yeah,
it's that, and also the whole don't give in thing. What you believe, it's for life, you know. And even the people who try all the time to change you, the song is about don't let the bastards grind you down. Yeah, it is. It's like, this is what we are. If you like it, it's like that. If you don't, you don't. But we're not changing. Yeah.
Don't follow trends, and it's really important to be the same formations, like almost for 10 years, and then helps a lot, you know, to keep the unity and the characteristic sound. So we could jam like with DJ Lito and Mike Patton, the Indian tribe, and still sound Sepultura in all that situations, you know. So it's very important to keep that also.
Well, I'm very excited to see this video. Here we go, Sepultura with the first track from the Roots album, and this is out as a single tomorrow, Roots, Bloody Roots. Marilyn Manson there, and we're playing that video because Sepultura are going to be touring with Marilyn Manson and also Ozzy Osbourne, a triple bill there happening stateside a little bit later on this year. Now, going back to the album, guys, you already said that you wanted to show another side to Sepultura on this record, but Chaos AD was hugely successful. What were you hoping really to say also about Sepultura in '96 with Roots? What other things were you hoping to say?
I didn't thought too much about it. I just think it's we're giving the whole, hoping to give the whole metal scene a new hope, you know, like a new kick in the ass, like say, you know, it's still alive. Look, it's not dead, like people are saying, and you can be creative without losing your roots, without losing your heaviness and your intensity, but you can also be like, you know, with a lot of variety. And I think we're hoping that we started something good for the whole scene, not just for ourselves.
Definitely. Well, I think you have for sure. And Andreas, you also went back to your roots in terms of the studio that you used, because I understand that it was analog equipment, which is kind of the old-fashioned way rather than digital. Were you hoping for that really kind of raw, organic sound?
Yeah, that was very interesting when Ross Robinson talked about the studio, and really excited us to try to do something like that, you know. And the room and the whole studio, the whole equipment, old pedals, old board, old tape machines, everything, you know, very true sound, very honest, you know. So it was like we were on the practice pad, you know, like we do every day, you know, really relaxing and jamming, trying out a lot of crazy ideas and all the ideas as much as possible. And you know, the old equipment help a lot to have that really true sound that we have on stage, which is the place that we like the most to be.
And obviously, I guess you got turned on to Ross Robinson as a producer because of Korn's album.
Yeah, it's not just because of that, but it's part of it. He did some other work too with Deftones, band Deftones, and he did work with House of Pain too before. Yeah, he's really young, you know, and of course the Korn record, we all in Sepultura, we like the record. Yeah. We know the guys in the band, but we didn't want to sound like the record. So that's the other point, right. You know. And I don't think it sounds like that at all. And Ross came in with his way of working, but he accepts the Sepultura rules of working, which is we know what we want, cool. just make it work, you know. So I think it was a good choice. We felt very comfortable with him on the studio.
Brilliant. Okay, well, we got more Sepultura, Roots, Riot, Chaos coming up after the break. But right now, hot off the press, literally 2 days after the event, you're going to check out Sepultura live on stage on the Terrorist Tour here in Copenhagen. See you after the break. Yes, welcome back to the Headbangers Ball Sepultura Roots Riot special, coming to you from Copenhagen. And up next, I'm joined by Igor and Paolo Jr. So welcome back to Headbangers Ball, you guys. What's up?
Thanks, not much. Just started the tour, you know, it's a mess. But it's cold, but it's good. The show's been good.
It's freezing. Now, we're talking about the new album Roots, which is out on the 26th of February, so get that little date in your diary. And, you know, everybody's been saying that this album shows a very different side to Brazil, perhaps a more nostalgic and romantic view of the country. Why did you feel the need to look at it with different kind of perspective?
I think it's more towards like Brazilian music. We always showed a side of Brazil that it was towards lyric-wise, showing like the aggressive side of Brazil, of the craziness that goes on in the country. And right now we had a chance to put some of our culture, some of our music mixed with the Sepultura style. So I think it's something that, it's great, I think, on the same way, on the same level, when it's really strong, really passionate. I think that's important to keep.
Yes, definitely. And I wanted to know, whose idea was it to go and record with the Havante tribe?
I think
did somebody say, do you know that's impossible?
well, just we've been talking and just came up with an idea now, because we did the Caiovas already, so we tried to go a little more experimental this time. And the way to get more close to this kind of music, this culture, was go in there and do with them. So the Roadrunner Brazil did the arrangements with the Indian Association down in São Paulo and talked straight to the tribe, and they got very excited about it and really wanted to do it. So.
I mean, it must have been a fantastic experience. We saw a little bit of footage from your time there. What did you learn from your time with the Havantes? Because it must have made everything go into perspective.
I think the main thing that we got from there is that a lot of people talk about saving the tribes, and they don't need to be saved. They live a lot better than any of us, I think. You know, they have no stress with money or anything like that. If they're hungry, they go hunting, and they have the rivers, they drink the water, and, you know, everything, it's balanced is the main thing that they have. So for us, that was amazing to see that people still live like that today, totally in control of their lives without worrying about, you know, stuff that for us it's worthless, you know.
And I think it's great that you've brought attention to their way of life, and that hopefully you're doing something to preserve that culture in the tribe.
Well, they won't let nobody touch their culture. You know, that's the good thing about they're very, I would say, very into the culture. So they want to know what's going on. Before we do anything with them, we sat down with the chief, and he always want to know everything, step by step. What are we gonna do with the music, with the images and everything. So they want to know what's going on. They just don't want to let the thing goes outside without they know what about.
But you've got the Sepul tribe, and they've got their tribe, so you must have had a lot in common.
Yeah, in a way, a lot of the people that been to the tribe to study them and do research, they always felt really different from them because they treat them like something different. For us, it was music. No other intent on being there but music, so we're closer to them when we could feel that, you know, it was no compromise or anything, you know. Brilliant. They were there because they want to play the music with us, and that's why Sepultura was there. There was no other kind of like we didn't let any of the political side of it get influence on the whole thing. It was pure music.
Good. That sounds good to me. Alrighty, a little bit later on, after the next couple of videos, we're going to be hooking up with your support band Clutch. Yeah. Lots more Sepultura to come, of course, but right now we're turning our attention to another band on tour in Europe at the moment, and I hope Sepultura guys approve of this. This is Sugar Ray. We're going to show you Iron Mike. There you go, that was a top new British band, Honeycrack, with their debut video, Go Away. And of course, you already know that that band features ex-members of the Wild Hearts, CJ and Willie, and their debut album is out in April, so watch out for that. Anyway, we're still talking to Sepultura. It's our Headbangers Ball Sepultura Roots Riot special from Copenhagen. Igor and Paolo Jr. joining me here. And I wanted to talk about a little bit about the percussion on the album, because I understand from what I've heard of the album that the percussion was very much kind of the basis of the kind of new kind of sound and so on.
Yeah, I think it's a lot more drum. You know, the drum has a lot of driven on the music, on roots. Not much of a guitar riff and the drums following that over and over. I think there's a lot of drum riffs that the guitars had to do something on top of it. So I think that's something that it's cool for us. You know, for me especially, playing a lot of tribal rhythms, Brazilian rhythms. You know, it feels very natural. You know, for me, a few years ago, when I was trying to play like the guy from Creator or something, some metal drummer, it was a lot more struggle. Right now, I can play a lot more relaxed when I'm playing like the typical Brazilian music into my drums. You know, same with these guys, you know.
Because you actually brought in a wider range of Brazilian instruments than you used on Chaos AD, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Well, we did a lot of experimental stuff in the studio with the Brazilian percussionists, and it was more open jamming session situation, just free flow to do anything. And this was very no compromise. That's why it came out so good.
Are you going to be playing any of the Brazilian instruments on stage on the tour?
Tonight?
Yeah.
I think this tour, it's such a crazy tour, you know, small clubs and everything, that we have some stuff, but not as much as we want to do for the really roots tour. We're going to bring a lot more. This is more like a warm-up.
Right. And what about the kind of Brazilian chanting and so on? How are you going to reproduce that? Are you going to use tapes? Or?
Yeah, we don't know yet. We're going to try to do the same as Kaiovas we did on Chaos AD. A different version where it's going to be totally different from the album. Not try to do perfect the same, you know. We had no plans yet to bring any of the Indians with us on tour, but nothing, you know, arranged for that. It's too much headache, but we might have a tape or something.
Okay, well, we're going to check out some more Sepultura on video right now, and we're going to turn the clock back to the Chaos AD album, and we're going to check out the brilliant Refuse Resist tracks. That was the new video from Galactic Cowboys, taken from their new album Machine Fish. And Headbangers Ball is once again on tour with Sepultura, coming to you from Copenhagen. And now Max is back with me, and we're going to talk a little bit about the lyrics and also the vocals on the new album Roots. And talking of the lyrics, Max, it's my guess that you did a lot of soul searching to kind of come up with the ideas for the lyrics on this album.
Yeah, I've been writing stuff since October of '94. I just got a book and started just writing everything, all the ideas and stuff. And then when it comes time to like actually start putting lyrics, I just went through that book, and it was a lot of good stuff and it was a lot of bad stuff. And I just kind of like pick up the stuff that I thought would be like interesting. Like Roots came out of that. Great. I think I saw somewhere I said the words roots, and I was like, for me it's like a real powerful word that can mean all kinds of stuff.
It does, yeah.
For all kinds of people, different people. So that's kind of like how this whole record really came about. Very different than the other stuff.
Good. I mean, you do have these trademark kind of vocals which are very kind of angst-ridden and vitriolic, but I think that on this record you've taken them to an even more intense level. And really what I wanted to know was, how do you get yourself in the right frame of mind to be literally spitting out those vocals?
I don't know.
Do you sit on your own, or do you want to get like riled up? Or?
Well, the work I did with Roz is very personal, and I think that's his way of working with mostly singers, like he did with John from Korn, and Gino from the Deftones. It's like it becomes almost like two-person becomes one. Right. And me and Roz, we talk a lot before, and it's kind of like right before I record each part of the song, he made me really think about what I wanted to feel on that song, instead of just recording another song. So all the screaming and a lot of the stuff that you hear in the record was a lot of thing of a moment that I didn't predict. And then Ross, it was really good that he captured that and put it on the album. Yeah, it was like stuff like on the beginning of Attitude, I'm beating on the floor of the studio and screaming. I knew it was being recorded, but I think it's not going to sound good because I'm on the floor and the microphone's way up there. And when we listened back, that's all there, and it gave the whole beginning like a whole different atmosphere, like a angry and frustration taken out of yourself. So that's how I did the whole record.
welcome back to the final part of the Headbangers Ball. Sepultura Roots Riot special from Copenhagen, and Max and Igor are here, and just really wanted to quickly touch on the song Look Away. Of course, it is the most twisted song on the album without a doubt, and of course, Max, you've worked with other people outside of Sepultura, like Fudge Tunnel and so on. What was it like working with that really varied group of people? Was that inspirational in itself?
Yeah, it was great. It's something that with maybe other bands will not work, but with Sepultura, it seemed to always work. Anybody we bring in from outside, it's like instant connection, and it doesn't take away the Sepultura sound, but just bring something in. And you know, like when Mike came and John and DJ Lito, we start building the song. It was like out of scratch, out of nothing. You see this thing getting built and become like a monster, you know. It's great.
Because Jonathan from Korn wrote the lyrics on that song, didn't he?
Yeah, there was no lyrics first, and we're not even going to sing any lyrics. Because a lot of the album, when we were in the studio, a lot of the songs I didn't have lyrics for it. Even Roots didn't have the lyrics for us. I just scream anything. This is one of those. Look Away was like that. But then Jonathan's like, well, I got some lyrics for these, and he wrote it down, and it fit the song, you know. So it was cool.
Fantastic. And you must have had fun with Carlinhos Brown, the Brazilian percussionist, as well.
He's the man. He's like beyond any musician I ever seen in my life. You know, it's like he play any instrument. You put him in a piano, bass, anything, and also he create his own instruments out of cans and stuff. He's like beyond. So for me, and also he makes sure that every time he would be playing an instrument, he would have Max or me playing with him. So he wanted to make sure he wasn't just him playing together with Sepultura. It was like one thing. So every time he would pick up an instrument, he would go, Igor, come here, let's do this together. So he make me like a pattern, and we do it together. And Max, come here, do this. So it was always like such a great vibe to work with him. He's like amazing.
Well, thanks for that. We're going to catch up now with our Sepultura Video Terrorist Competition winner. That's Harry Guerin from Dublin in Ireland. Harry's doing his thing over here with his video camera. So welcome down to Headbangers Ball. Harry, squash in here. Are you having a good day so far?
Absolutely. It's
good.
Really great.
And you've met the guys already?
Oh, yeah.
Max and Igor, you know. Now, you've got a question for the guys, haven't you?
Sure. Do you think, what is the greatest thing that has changed since the early shows in '89? What has changed with the shows and stuff? Do you still think the same energy level is there from the kids and stuff?
I think that's why we still keep doing things like this, like tonight. You know, it's to keep that with us, and by doing that, you never. I think you're never gonna feel like you're disassociate yourself from the people that you first play with. And for us, it's very natural because we do that in Brazil, you know. We do that wherever we go. We always go back to our friends and stuff when we go down back to Brazil, and it's like very natural. And we consider the older fans that we have in Europe, it's kind of like part of a Sepultura tribe, you know. We see people in this tour that we see 5-6 years ago. And we just look older, and you know, more bigger beard, bigger and stuff. But you know, same people, we still likes the music. It's a great thing.
So now Harry's part of the Sepul tribe tonight, isn't he? So right, right, we're going to have a look. We're going to have a look right now at the video diary that Harry filmed on his camcorder, and this is his view of a day in the life of Sepultura. Here we go.
Denmark, home to Peter Schmeichel, The Little Mermaid, and Carlsberg beer, and for today, me, Harry Guerin. Have you ever heard of Harry Guerin?
Harry Guerin,
yeah.
Who's he?
Winner of the Sepultura Video Terrorist Competition.
Who the fuck is Harry Guerin?
Yeah, you dangerous!
Harry what?
Are you Sepultura? Who is Harry Guerin?
Who's Jimmy Page?
I'm Silvio, on guitar tech. I'm working for Andreas for the last 7 years. 88. It's a good guitar. He's been working with this guitar for the last, let's say, 9 years.
1, 2, hit.
He just recorded the album with this guitar. It's a pretty good guitar. Brazilian and they play heavy. It's great.
Are you on any prescription medication?
Prescription medication, what does that mean?
Hey, very, very good. Okay.
He likes it. It's probably him early on the hardcore.
He's only 12. It's his first concert, you know, so it's very good for him. Yes.
Do you get given a lot of gifts by people on tour and stuff?
Yeah, we do actually. All kinds of stuff, you know. Kids will give us T-shirts. Yesterday, the kid from Finland gave me a scarf with say Sepultura on it, and I thought that was cool, you know. Like you know, he realized, man, these guys are from Brazil. This is really cold here, so maybe I'll give him a scarf, you know, keep them warm.
Why is it so cold here?
I don't know. We're just Vikings. We're used to this.
Every city we play, we make the promoter in the rider. He has to give us soccer shirts. So from the country, you know. So I got this from Sweden. We played Sweden yesterday, so I got a Swedish shirt for free.
Who the fuck is Harry? Whatever.
So whenever I'm playing Ireland, whoever the promoter is there, better give us an Ireland shirt.
What did you think of the concert?
It was the best. The concert, it was fucking great.
You liked the concert?
It was the fucking best concert I ever watched.
In plain English, it was Sepultura. Sepultura is fucking great, man.
Yes, you're Gary or something like that? No,
that's pretty
G
close.
from Ireland, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's me. What did you think of the concert?
I didn't see it.
Great.
What do you think of the new songs?
Yeah.
They're really good.
Yeah.
Why didn't you see the concert?
It's too many people.
It's water.
Why did you come to the concert?
Because I paid.
It was great. Really great. They have a great groove.
Okay, this is the end of the show, and we've got beers and food upstairs if you're interested.
It's 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm really, really tired, so I'm gonna call it quits for today. Okay, here I am. I'm on the final part of my mission. I'm on my way back to London to edit my video diary, the Sepultura gig. It was a really cool gig, and I've just got one final question to ask. Have you ever heard of Harry Gearin?
Harry Gearin? Yeah, sure. He was the guy that won that competition on MTV.
That's right.
So that was a look at our competition winner, Harry Gearin's video diary, out on the road here with Sepultura, and we're winding up tonight's show right now. I've got loads more questions left, but I'm just going to finish by saying, guys, that I think Igor mentioned earlier that this is a preliminary tour and that you are going to come back and do much bigger venues with a full production. When do you think that's going to happen?
We don't know. We hope somewhere as soon as possible in the summer or something, because there's so many songs we're not playing on this tour, unfortunately, because we haven't time to set up properly, like Rata Mahata and Look Away. There's too much going on, you know. This is just like really like a warm-up terrorist tour, you know, just to really like play some of the new stuff, the old stuff, and start a whole tour cycle in a good atmosphere.
Because there have been a lot of disappointed fans out there who couldn't get into these shows. What would you like to say to them?
Well, this is just something that we thought, you know, instead of, the album's not out yet, so we could stay at home for a month without doing anything. We decided, let's go on tour and do something not as big, because it wouldn't be as cool if the album's not out to play all the new songs. People will be kind of lost. So it's just an appetizer to, you know, what we're coming.
What's coming.
Yeah, to the big. So whoever, kids who couldn't get in these shows, man, it's not the last time. We will be back with a bigger one with a lot of shit going on.
Well, what an appetizer, that's what I can say. So, the new single, Roots, Bloody Roots, is out tomorrow. The album, Roots, is out on the 26th of February. This is just like we said, an appetizer of things to come from Sepultura in '96. So thank you to all the guys for joining us and giving us some time here today in Copenhagen. Wonderful to talk to you, and I want to wish you all lots of luck with the tour and what's going on in the States and so on. And I think it's going to be another fantastic year for Sepultura.
Thank you.
All
Appreciate
right.
it.
Cheers then, guys. All right, we're just concluding tonight's edition of Headbangers Ball, and we're going to leave you, I guess, in the best possible way, and that is with another exclusive live performance of Sepultura live on stage here at the Alexandria Club in Copenhagen. Hot of the press. Remember, this was only filmed 48 hours ago. Check it out. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye from Copenhagen.
Bloody roads, mate.
Hello, this is Igor from Sepultura, and we're here at Virgin in London. It's close to midnight, and we're going to be signing the Roots album. See ya. If I'm going right. Not here, see?
We're always looking for events like this to do. It's the largest store in the world for home entertainment, so it's just the sort of thing that we're looking for, and it was great that Roadrunner approached us to do the Sepultura opening.
Roots, bloody Roots. I saw it on Headbangers Ball last weekend and I loved it. It was excellent.
We came down earlier on, got to the show, found it was cancelled, went, had a few drinks with some friends, come down, started queuing. Just, it's a real good sense with all the fans, just hanging out, talking.
Worth every minute. Worth every minute.
Roots, bloody Roots! A lot of bands wouldn't have done all this, so it's just great. I mean, a lot of bands just come into town, waltz through, play the show, shake a few hands afterwards to do this. Midnight, put a lot of people, a lot of effort. I'm really pleased with them, it's great.
From what I can see, it looks quite unusual. I'll study it closer, perhaps when I've got time to myself. I'm just a bit gobsmacked at the moment.
I think when we heard this record as well, we realised that they'd done something very, very different, and it could have gone either way, really. You know, the fans that they'd already established could have gone, well, what a weird record to make. But, you know, the fans are very, very loyal, and they've gone, well, we respect exactly, you know, the Sheep have gone this way and Sepultura have gone this way, and rather set a trend than follow one. And I think that, you know, that's what's really made them win at the end of the day.
It's cool, man, it's cool. It's all good, you know, we're mad that we missed the show because of Max, but this is great.
Now, just signing and gonna get another 3 days off in London. Gonna drink some pints of beers. Took me, I don't know, about 3 hours to put this makeup on tonight, but it's worth it to come and see Sepultura. It's just saying thank you to Sepultura for sort of being a caring kind of band. You know, they've done a lot of stuff for the Brazilian Indians and stuff. I've got a lot of friends doing eco action. I was actually dressing up for the gig, but it turned out not going on. But I hopefully see them on Wednesday dressed up the same. It's just, you know, kind of paying homage to Sepultura.
New album got a lot of different stuff going on, so we got to be prepared for it. Okay. But we'll be back soon, summer festivals around Europe, and after that, do a nice tour over Europe and play as much places as we can.
See you on tour.
Sepultura, who are confirmed to appear at MTV's Rock am Ring and Rock im Park in Germany and Pinkpop in Holland. It's also rumoured that they'll be appearing at the Roskilde Festival in Denmark. Now, the band are celebrating this week as their new album, Roots, has sold over 60,000 copies in the UK, achieving silver status just 3 weeks after its release. So congratulations, guys. And if you're the lucky owner of a copy of Roots, you'll already know that the band looked to their origins for inspiration on the new material, which included a trip into the Brazilian rainforest to collaborate with the remote Havantes tribe. Here's a look at Sepultura's adventures and experiences in deepest, darkest Brazil.
The most experimental album we ever did. You know, it was an amazing experience for us, for our personal lives and for the band life.
Attracted to Brazilian musical roots, Sepultura traveled to the Mato Grosso region to record a song with members of the Xavante tribe.
Surpresa, muito feliz quando a gente ficou sabendo que ia dar realmente para fazer. Esse é sonho antigo da Sepultura, de fazer uma coisa mais pra gente mais raiz do que tudo que tem aqui no Brasil.
Coming back to our root and bringing that back into the music, I think that's the main thing. It's not just the name or just, you know, the fact that we started in Brazil.
The collaboration between Sepultura and the Xavantes went surprisingly smoothly.
Uma coisa que me perguntou assim, se eles querem conhecer um pouco o trabalho de vocês, né? Falar um pouco, mostrar a LP, né?
A gente mostra o que a gente trouxe, um pouco da música que a gente escreveu. A gente fez uma música especialmente para vocês, que a gente mostra e vocês vai ver o que acham, o que...
In order to authentically record the song Itsari, or Origin, along with the Xavante tribe, Sepultura underwent several tribal rituals.
We choose the ritual of the healing of the world, which they dance in circle. They paint their bodies all red and stuff and use like different percussion instruments on the neck and on the feet and stuff. And they keep dancing the whole night long and stuff, like clapping and singing.
Roots! Bloody Roots!
The heaviest album we ever did.
Having returned to their roots, the band then traveled to Los Angeles to complete the track with such guests as Mike Patton of Faith No More, DJ Lethal of House of Pain, and Brazilian traditional musician Carlinhos Brown, with whom they recorded outside the studio, incorporating several traditional instruments from Brazil.
Well, I think the whole concept of the album, it was about to get something that would capture the energy of the band live. That on tape is one of the most difficult things. So I think the whole thing fits, you know, fits the roots.
Having recorded Itsare, Sepultura then cut an interpretation of Kiowas, the Xavantes' tribal song, which had originally inspired them.
For us, it was great, and for them, you know, it was something different. A bunch of people, long hair, tattoos. So somehow, at the end, they knew we had something in common, you know, being different, you know, being seen outside the world as freaks, but at the same time, just being ourselves. You know.
Sepultura going back to their roots.
We try to do in every album be as much free as possible like we are on stage, and with Roots we got that, you know.
And on KZD we try out also, you know, we have more open sound, you know, not using too much like effects on drums and stuff like that, on guitar. It was very open and live performance. But Roots is much more that than even KZD. But KZD opened a lot of different ways we could follow. You know, it was really important album to take Sepultura of that metal, you know, scene or whatever, you know, that metal name, you know, that really limits your music, your way of doing things. I think with Roots, it's a good representation of what's going on today in Brazil. There's a lot of mixture like we're doing, you know, the percussion part, the rhythms part, with some heavy guitars and, you know, some Jimi Hendrix style wah-wah guitars, you know, like mixing more of that stuff instead of just saying separate and, you know, I do my style, you do yours, you know. We were showing a better view of Brazil, not better, but a more real view of Brazil, like São Paulo, you know, a big city, and the problems in the streets of Rio, and the corruption, politics, and social injustice and stuff like that, to make a better idea what Brazil is, really, you know. And now we're showing more of the culture part of Brazil, and more of the art, and you know, the culture of the Indians, and the mix of the rhythms from African and stuff like that, and to make you know, to show the richest part of Brazil instead of just pointing the bad stuff. Like come back to our beginning, not musically, but the attitude of it, you know, to not be ashamed of the first albums that we have, you know, which was very death metal and stuff, but was very important for the whole career, and still is, you know. It's like holding up the whole career the Sepultura have. So for us, it's very important not to forget about the past that we have, you know. Alcohol was like a big problem, especially for Max, you know, because he drinks a lot and he starts to get like problems in the stomach, and health, you know, was getting shaky. But he stopped, you know, drinking, and, you know, with the family, with like 2 kids, and I have a kid now too, but I still enjoy drink, you know, not like crazy, you know, but I love beer, you know, it's the best drink that, you know, I like it. So I enjoy drinking beer, and I don't drink too much like whiskey and vodka and heavy stuff, you know.
I think he quit because he just grew up. You know, like he was young, and, you know, we all went through that experimental period, and he has some things from his childhood that were very, very hard for him to accept. And the older he got, and also becoming a father, it made him realize a lot more about life than he did before. So, you know, his drinking is in the past, thank God. Max can't go anywhere without Zion, and now we have Igor too, so, you know, if we left him at home, he wouldn't know us when we returned, and we just thought until he started school it would be really the best thing, and they go really well. They're great travelers, so they've been to all the video shoots and everything, so I don't know, I just take on all the duties myself, you know, I've always worked like that, I always toured, and it's a lot easier, I think, to watch what's going on. And I think you have a more realistic attitude about touring. You know, it's really easy for a manager to sit in an office and go, oh, you're getting $10 a day, you know, to live on or something. And when you go out on the road, you know really what's possible and what's not possible. So, and I enjoy it too. I met them in the end of 1989 when they opened for Sacred Reich, another band that I managed for quite a while. And after that, Max and I just kind of briefly, like occasionally we would date and stuff, and mostly we just really built a strong relationship, you know, through the years, and, you know, we just realized one day that, you know, we were going to get married, so it's kind of crazy. Both of us are workaholics, you know, so we work all day long, and when there's time off, we work. On our honeymoon, we worked, you know, so it's really great for us, I think. We're both really into what we're doing, you know, so.
In this point of our career, yeah, it's really important, you know, not to lose ourselves to follow with trends and stuff like that. You know, it's really important to keep the band identity together, you know, so we can jam and do different stuff without losing the identity of the band, like we did on Roots. You know, we did a song with House of Pain, a song with Mike Patton, and a song with the percussionists from Brazil, a song with the Tribe in Brazil. And all of them sounds like Sepultura, but with their influence, you know. So it's very important to have that attitude, coming back to our roots and really, have that feeling of unity that the band always had, with the same formation and growing up together as one thing. So it's very important and really for us. Metal bands nowadays, it's very, very boring, the majority of the bands, they don't have any new influence, any new tastes and new nothing really. They just do the same stuff over and over. And we don't want to do that, never. Every album, if you listen, it's very, very different from each other, We tour a lot, travel, listen to different kind of music. And we wanted to change, it's very boring, to rehearse something that you already did like 2 or 3 years ago and try to do the same, We just brought like 2 acoustic guitars and just small pieces of drums, and we were there for 4 days living with them. They paint our bodies like theirs, and we dance with them. And
red color.
Red and black, yeah, and all the feathers and stuff, and it was amazing, really. It was great. They're very friendly, it was very easy to talk with them. And well, the language is different, but there's one guy there who speaks Portuguese and their language, which is the chief there. So through him, we could talk and discuss like different ideas, and it was very, very great, man. Very great.
Roots. Bloody roots.
The Chavantes tribe, it's independent. They have their independence. They don't connect it with the government, which was the main thing that could make it happen. Because if you have to deal with the government, it would be very bureaucratic and a lot of people involved, and maybe press and a lot of money and stuff like that. So it would be very difficult to realize that, to make it happen. So with the Indians, contact straight with them, they have the right to choose whatever they want to do or whatever they want people there or not, So it was much easier. They were the first tribes, one of the first tribes to contact with the white culture, and they didn't sold out. They still have, lived the same way for years and years. They still build their own houses and, live with their own hunting there. They don't have electricity, no cars, no phones, no TV, no nothing, really, living that way. And a lot of tribes really sold out, for gold or money, they sold out their land and stuff like that. And it was very important for Chavantes and for the project we have in mind to have really a tribe like that, And one thing I thought was great, every night they lay down and, just the light of the moon, there's no light at all. And they reflect, reflection a lot, think a lot about, their attitudes and stuff, and they talk a lot about themselves, It's a very democratic way of living. Everything they have to decide towards the tribe, they talk, they have like 3-4 meetings a day to decide little things, So I think that was great, everybody's involved, it's like a whole community. And in a way, Sepultura is the same, really, living as a family, like bringing kids and wives and shit like that, and always having the idea of a band, not only one member or other, always have unity and, have the same, point of view or whatever. And more than a year we don't play. You know, we're very, you know, apart from the stage for a long time, since November '94, which was our last tour with Ramones in Brazil. We didn't step on the stage since then, so we kind of want to come back, you know, slowly, you know, and try, you know, to perform the songs from the album, which have a lot of percussion, a lot of stuff going on. Since the album was released, and not released, but since the album was finished on the studio, we never had the chance really to got back together and rehearse and stuff. So we don't have really, you know, any idea how we're gonna do it, but rehearsing and, you know, practicing, we're gonna see. And this tour is for that also, you know, to put that in front of the people on stage, and, you know.
Thanks a lot, Stockholm! This is Sepultura, Brazilians in Sweden. This song is for our new album. This is called Spray! Thanks.
Hej hej alla snygga killar och förtjusande tjejer. Jag är nämligen i Stockholm, nämligen bestämt på klubben Gino. Bak mig här har Sepultura, black metal-bandet fra Brasil, soundcheck. Og om en liten stund skal de komme opp her, og jeg skal intervjue dem.
Hello Norway, here's Andreas, Max, Sepultura, and watch us later in the show.
The name is Sepultura, what does it mean?
Grave.
The first single of this album is the track Roots, Bloody Roots. Why did you choose that one as the first single?
I think because the song has all the elements in there that we wanted people to see it the first time, what Sepultura is bringing to the music in the you know, right now. And Roots has, you know, I think the rhythm, the vocals, you know, the guitar playing, the style, it's what goes throughout the whole record. But
the lyrics also, you know, express all the feeling throughout the whole album. And I think without Roots, Bloody Roots on the album will be kind of lost, you know. And Roots still really holds everything, you know, and it's the strongest song, you know. It's simple but very strong, and it's the first song on the album. It's gonna be the first video, and you know, it's just a strong start, you know, for everything.
Whose idea was it to work with the Xavante tribe, the tribe by the border of Bolivia?
Yeah, I think it started on the last record. We did a song about tribe, Kiowa.
Yeah, we did Kiowas, which is we recorded in a different way. It was the first time we recorded something outside the studio. We recorded in the ruins of the castle in South Wales, and with just a few equipment, you know, just small microphones and, you know, 8-track machine. And we realized we could do that anywhere in the world with anybody, you know, like just a few equipment, just some acoustic and percussion instruments, and bring this equipment and record with anybody, you know. So a Brazilian tribe was something natural for us, you know, to go to Brazil and try to do something with the most original Brazilian music, which is the Indian music. So for us it was really a great experience to go there and record something like that.
How did you get in contact with that tribe? They live with the nature and...
Yeah. Xavante's tribe is a very unique tribe. They have their independence. They're not connected with the government, and it was very easy to get in touch with them, actually. You know, we didn't have to go for bureaucratic ways and sign papers and deal with politics and shit like that, you know. Our main thing was just deal with music.
And we kept the politics away. You know, like, we heard about the things, you know, that happened with Sting and stuff, and we were like really concerned about, don't let the whole thing be like that. It's a musical thing, it's an artistic thing. Sepultura and the Xavantes, we're both there just creating music and doing you know, like a work of preserving culture and stuff. And there was not involvement, not even 1% of politics involved, you know.
On your former albums and also on this one, you have, there's a lot of aggression in your music, and it seems to me that most of that aggression is directed towards the different political systems and injustice that is in your part of the world, Latin America. Is it very important to you that your music has a message to your listeners?
Yeah, I guess so. It's just a natural way for us to express music that way, you know. We like to play aggressive, loud, and strong music all the time. It doesn't matter if you play acoustic or piano or flute, whatever, you know. Every time Sepultura is going to sound strong and aggressive. So just the way we like to play. And in the beginning, our influence was all the death metal, black metal bands, which, you know, it's our roots also. It's another meaning for the Roots album, you know, the name of the album, which came from that hard and aggressive music which we love to play. And our message is just our point of view, really. It's not like a politics or a preacher, stuff like that. You know, just our point of view that a lot of people relate and agree, and a lot of people didn't agree, and that's enough for us. You know, just express what we think, and a lot of people relate with that. You know, so it's great.
I know that some of you, or at least one of you, has got children, and obviously both of you. Okay, congratulations. Is it a boy or a girl?
I have a daughter named Julia. She's 10 months old, and Max got 2 kids, plus Gloria's kids.
Yes. So
tribe, the whole tribe.
The whole tribe. Well, how do you combine the rock and roll image and lifestyle with family life? I know that your wife is a manager, so that solves your problem.
It's for us natural. I think, like, we did a show in Phoenix, and Andreas' daughter was there, and I think it's like everything we do in the group, you know, it's phases that we go through, and most of us go through the same phases together, except for Paulo. But he comes along, you know. So it's not like one person does and the other doesn't, and then it becomes a problem, you know. Like, we've been doing this for 12 years, we've been to the craziest years already when everybody, you know, the first tours here and everybody was like complete, you know, out of control. And I think after a while you just get tired of it and you want different things, you know. Music is the thing that keeps it all together. The family and the stuff, it's great and all that, but you know, music's what holds all of us together, and we just combine that very naturally without freaking out or anything, you know. It's just, you know, we have kids and stuff, but when you go write an album and stuff, you don't need to change, you know, because you're the same person still, you know, unless you want to change and become a different, and be afraid of things. We're not afraid of things, you know. Music, when talking about music and band, it's like we become ourselves again. It's just like become Max, Ivo, Paul, and Andreas, not the family people or just musicians, you know, talking about making different music.
If I got it right, you've been 12 years in the rock and roll scene, which is a very long time. Congratulations. How do you keep the inspiration up? How do you manage to renew yourself without growing tired?
We don't think about it, like, really. Like, how do you do? We just like to do this, you know. We don't have to do anything else except play football and, you know, other things. But no one wants to, like, work in a factory or anything, you know. And for us, this is like not a job, you know. When we go write a new album, it's exciting, you know. Like some bands, they hate it, you know, hate tours, and we have fights, you know, and arguments, everything. But I think the point is that for us to be in a band is still a very exciting thing. It's a great thing, you know. And we're just like very happy that we got to stay all these years together and manage to survive in the music scene and manage to respect each other musically and personally, and we just like to play a lot. You know, for us, it's great.
The concern also is to do something different all the time. You know, not to play the same music over and over. And you know, in this case, you gotta get tired. Our fans will get tired, and you know, the band is gonna be finished soon. So for us, very important to listen to different kind of music. The chance to tour is great. You know, to see things by ourselves. You know, and you know, bring new stuff all the time. You know, especially on Roots, we brought a lot of Brazilian influence, Brazilian percussion and music, and who knows what we're gonna bring next, you know. But the attitude is to be open and ready, you know, to be, you know, prepared to try to bring new influence all the time.